Dacus, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6. It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Welcome in. The commissioner has spoken, and Adam Silver says the Grizz are staying. I wish he had stopped right there. He could have. But then he said, that Nashville, that's a growing city. Maybe the Grizz could give some of their games to Nashville. More on that in just 1 second. 5 of the 8 NBA playoffs, they are series that are tied 1-1. 8 playoff series, 5 tied 1-1, 3 are 2-0. Interestingly enough, 1-8 is one of those 5 that's tied. 2-7, both of them are tied 1-1. And then the 4-5s, which are supposed to be the closest, they're both 2-0. Lakers and Cleveland in command of Houston and Toronto. You never know in these playoffs. I know they're entertaining, that's for sure. The officiating last night, according to one veteran, Kevin Booker, who says he's never criticized officiating. He named the ref. He said they were terrible, that it reminded them of WWE, and it is killing the credibility of the league. We're going to talk to Pete Pranica, TV voice of the Grizzlies, about all of that. Mike Vrabel concedes that he needs counseling, which I found interesting. With that statement, he'll miss day 3 of the NFL draft. Those are rounds 4 through 7. Oddly enough, the New England Patriots have 8 of their 11 picks in that time slot. But now there's some concession and some accountability when he says, I got a problem, didn't say what it was, that he owed it to his family and to the team. So he is going to go for counseling, some retreat somewhere for a period of time, undisclosed, to take care of whatever problem that he has. He certainly didn't mention Diana Rossini or any apology still forthcoming, but at least the guy is saying, he's admitting he screwed up when he says he has to go and get some counseling. And yes, it's finally here. It is NFL Draft Day. Ladies and gentlemen, with the first pick, the Raiders are going to take Fernando Mendoza. I want to go back, and I'm just curious, Landon Schmidt, with different generations. There's only one time that I can remember in my lifetime that an NBA team was shared by 2 cities. That was Kansas City and Omaha, the KC Omaha Royals. That didn't work. I want to say maybe Buffalo shared a team at one time with somebody. I'm not 100% certain. I couldn't remember. But I sure wish the commissioner had stopped after I talked to all the players. Nobody says they don't like playing in Memphis. And Robert Pera has no desire at all to leave Memphis. They're not going anywhere. Wish he had stopped there. This is a smart guy. Then he went on to talk about all that Nashville has going for itself right now, including a Super Bowl coming their way. And
you could even throw WrestleMania in that mix.
Go ahead, throw it in. They got it all. And so there's purpose to everything he says. Why he mentioned that maybe they should play some games there, I hate to say it, it bugs the heck out of me because I don't think that can work. Here's what I say. You're going to play any games there? Give them some exhibition games. That's it. I know they got training camp there. Let them play a couple of exhibition games. Give me your thoughts on the commissioner's comments and, why you think he went there.
I honestly think it sounds like people pleasing. I think he hears the top, some of the top stars in the NBA, dog in Memphis, dog in the area and whatnot. And so I think he's playing a little bit to people pleasing, saying keep him in Memphis, but we could also maybe have him play in different locations as well. I think, to your point, exhibition games, sure. I don't think that adds or takes away anything, but I think it was a people-pleasing move.
Okay. I hope you're right, because I don't believe that a guy in his position, his power, and his intelligence says something off the cuff without thinking about it.
Yeah.
So to bring that in unsolicited when he was making a point about, no, they're not going. I haven't heard very many complaints at all about Memphis. Players like playing there. Mm-hmm. They were terrific. In those playoff runs, that was as good as any NBA city. The place was packed. The atmosphere was terrific. I mean, it really was. And, I mean, who can blame fans not coming the last couple of years or two of the last when you're tanking? And it was organizational tanking.
Yeah, you don't know anybody on the court either.
You might know them if you went to hustle games.
Maybe.
No, I don't think anybody goes to those either. Hey, but bottom line is, there was purpose there. They're not going anywhere. That's the positive thing. I did not care for the remarks about Nashville. And again, if you're trying to please everybody then and you want to give Nashville a game or two, give them a couple of exhibition games. See how that goes. Because this is a city, as you mentioned, Super Bowl. Getting a brand new state-of-the-art $2 billion plus stadium that's going to have a Super Bowl, that's going to have a WrestleMania, that has all the country music awards and everything else going for it, that probably will end up with baseball. And there is an old saying, and I heard this from an old, wise general manager who said, and this was David Stern's philosophy when they were talking about expanding in the old days. If you can go to a city and you're the only major league tenant, grab that city because you'll own that city. If indeed the Grizzlies had ever been sort of picked to move, they'd be 3 at the moment in that city. Nobody's going to undo the Titans as the number 1 sports franchise. Okay, that's 1. 2, the Predators are pretty darn set, and by the way, they're the primary tenants in that arena. 3, if they get a Major League Baseball team, now you're competing against 3 major league entities? That makes no sense. Why would Robert Parra want that? Plus which, by the way, Robert Parra would have to pay a relocation fee. And one last thing. To relocate, at least under the David Stern tenure, and I think that's still in effect, you have to get 75% of the owners to agree to your move. And you got to pay them a relocation fee. I don't know that Parra could get 75% of the vote, and I don't know if he wants to pay a relocation fee to be the 3rd or the 4th entity in a city. So, a lot of good things. Didn't care for the last comment. We're going to hear from Pete Pranica in a second, the TV voice of the Grizzlies, brought to you by a place I know he would love to play. That's Miramichi, not in Millington, in Woodstock, 25 minutes from my driveway in East Memphis. Now in great shape. The greens are in the best shape I've seen it. It's always in good shape. But usually, especially this time of the year, they let the greens grow a little longer to protect them until the 70-degree nights come when you can really, really grow a lot of grass if it's Bermuda grass. And these are hybrid Bermuda greens everywhere now. They're cut quick. I mean, they were so fast when I played it on Sunday. And the place is just so beautiful. I noticed when I was on one green, I looked around, and you can see pretty much there's a 360 view. I was going, wow, this place is so gorgeous and so reasonably priced. It is the true golf experience. It really is. From the practice facilities, the best of any public course that I know of, to the clubhouse, to the deck with the view and all they got every kind of sort of liquid that you could want to enjoy your day. Just sit back, relax, get the complete golf experience. All you got to do is head to Miramichi. We head down the road just a little bit. Our good friend Pete Pranica joins us now. So, Pete, tell me what your thoughts were when Adam Silver spoke yesterday. Good morning.
Good morning. Please, Commissioner, why did you have to say that?
Exactly.
Well, here, I think Adam is operating from a 30,000-foot view, which is small market team, You've got a larger market 3 hours away. Hey, why not expand your fan base by playing some games in Nashville? If you take the context of the relationship between Memphis and Nashville, take all that out of there. Take the context of a lease negotiation in Memphis. Take all that out of there. Okay, well, I can kind of see that, yeah. But when you put all the other layers on it, that you're trying to get a new lease signed here in Memphis, and the dynamic between Memphis and Nashville, I mean, let's be honest, it's sometimes problematic. Then it just is like, no, you did not read the room correctly, sir. And like I said, I just wish he hadn't gone there. Back in the day, because this question had come up too, it's like, well, do other teams move their games? Now, San Antonio will play a couple of games in Austin. Now, having said that, it's only an hour away, and It's also the home of their G League franchise. You and I probably would remember that back in the day when Larry Bird was playing for the Celtics, they played some regular season games at the Hartford Civic Center.
I was trying to remember. The only one I could really remember was Kansas City and Omaha, the KC Omaha Royals, which did not work at all. I think they did that maybe 1 year, maybe it was 2, but it didn't last. I knew there was some other thing. I thought it might have been Buffalo in the mix with somebody, but it was Boston, and you would think, wow, that's a flagship franchise. Why would they do that?
Could have been simply because there were a lot of people you couldn't get into Old Boston Garden.
Yeah.
It was just too hard to get in. Now, people have asked, and I should point this out. People have asked why the Grizzlies have training camp in Nashville but don't play a preseason game there. I asked that question, and someone who would know told me that the current lease agreement that the Grizzlies have with the city is that the Grizzlies may not schedule a home game anywhere but FedEx Forum.
Huh.
So years ago, the Grizzlies played a preseason game in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Why? Because I think it was Atlanta. The Atlanta Hawks gave up a home preseason game. They didn't care to have it at State Farm or the Omni or wherever they were at the time. And so that's why that game was played in Chattanooga.
So that was really an Atlanta home game, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, I understand what Adam is saying, but he misses the context of a lot of things, and unfortunately, he kicked the hornet's nest that was better left unkicked.
Yeah. I would be very willing to let them have an exhibition game or two if that makes the commissioner happy and it helps the marketing of the team. Go for it. But I wouldn't give up a regular season game, not at all. And I agree with you. That was one of the first things I said was I wish he had stopped after saying, I talked to all the players. They like playing in Memphis, and Robert Pera has no desire to move the team. Which, by the way, yeah. I did want to ask you this. In the past, at least under David Stern, and that's becoming further and further away as time passes on, to relocate a team, you had to pay a relocation fee, but you also had to pay you had to get 75% of the vote of the other league owners. Is that still the process that would have to happen today if any team decided to move?
I would imagine it is, because that would have to be baked in the Constitution, and I don't know that they've ever changed that. Certainly, owners, you don't want franchises to just be able to pick up and move whenever they want to. See the Baltimore Colts.
Right.
So I would imagine that's the same. But Adam is absolutely correct. Robert has zero desire to move the team. He wants it in Memphis. The local owners are very, very happy with his stewardship and the way things have been going. So, relocation, it's an absolute non-issue.
All right, let's move on to the NBA playoffs, which have been very intriguing. We've got surprises here. Out of the 8 series, 5 are tied. The surprising is you got a 1-8 that's tied. You got both 2 7s that are tied, and both of the 4 5s that are the closest ones are 2-0, Lakers and Cleveland over Houston and Toronto. Which is the most surprising thing to you at this point?
I think the most surprising thing is the Knicks absolutely kicking away Game 2 at home. We've all seen C.J. McCollum. We call him a first-team Grizz killer,
right.
And it's not just the Grizzlies. I think the fact that New York let that slip, I think that was the biggest surprise. 1A would be Orlando just ambushing Detroit in Game 1. Detroit, known for their defensive ability, could not get stops in that game. That was surprising. Orlando is like the stock market. They're all over the place. They're up one day, they're down another. They got stomped by Charlotte, in the play-in game, and so it's like, okay, now what's going to happen? So they were on the verge. Everybody was having Jamal Mosley getting fired, right? And now
Right.
all of a sudden they're 1-1 with Detroit going back home. So that to me is a bit of a surprise. Given that Orlando went fully healthy and they're playing at their best, they're better than your typical 8 seed.
Since you mentioned Mosley possibly getting fired, what about Billy Donovan apparently getting fired?
They got rid of the general manager, Arturas Karnisovas, and there has always been a lot of unrest, it seems, in the Chicago front office. And I do follow the Bulls a little bit, having lived in Chicago and knowing contacts there in the city. I really don't know that the Bulls have a plan for what they're doing. I really don't. Now, you can build around Josh Giddey and Buzelis. I think those are two really, really solid players. But how they're working around to improve that franchise, I could see Billy Donovan going like, I don't see the vision here. And I don't know who the general manager is going to be. And maybe the general manager is going to want to hire his own coach. And Billy Donovan could simply say, I'll go back to college, or I can just take my money and, sit on the pier and fish. Not completely a surprise that Billy Donovan won't be back.
I'm shocked for one reason. And I guess we really won't know that he could have been the coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. But it sure seemed like he was in the position that he could have taken that job. He chose to stay, and then basically 3 weeks later, he gets canned. That's what surprised me.
Yeah, that was. But again, the Chicago front office, I don't know what their plan is. I don't know.
Yeah.
Most front offices and teams, you're like, okay, well, this is what they're going to try to do. In Chicago, like, I have no idea.
Moving to the Lakers and Houston, KD didn't play in the first game, but Luke Kennard did, 27. He's been really good. Marcus Smart was the hero of Game 2 for the most part, stopping KD in the second half. I think he hit 4 of his first 5 threes in the first half. Like, it was crazy. And you've got Laravia is playing on that team too. You look down and you see those 3 former Grizz. What goes through your mind when you see that?
Why not us?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is disturbing, and to see that there are former Grizzlies out there who played all 82 games this year, including Desmond Bane. So, yeah, it is a bit frustrating, but and the fact that it's the Lakers makes it hurt even worse, because I'm sure Grizzlies fans don't have much love for the Lakers, so that is kind of painful to watch.
I was just going to say, or LeBron, after what he said about Memphis. You can't help but admire what he's doing at the age of 41. I mean, you just, if you're going to be an honest person, you have to go, wow. But
yeah.
As a human being, and the way how spoiled he sounded with the hotel situation, and just taking an unnecessary crack at the city, I don't think he's got any fans here anymore.
No. There'll be some bandwagon fans that come out if he's playing next year. That'll come to FedEx Forum, and they'll have their LeBron jerseys on. But by and large, I think the reception he's going to get next year, assuming that he does play next year, it's going to be far from friendly.
You've been doing this a long time. Kevin Booker has never really been the most outspoken player that I've ever heard. Usually, I find him to be sort of a genteel chap. But he went after the officiating last night, talked about it hurting the credibility of the league, that it looked like WWE. Dylan Brooks got in on it too, just saying how poorly it was officiated. You've been watching this up close for 20 plus years. Do you notice anything different about the officiating? Has it gotten worse? Is it better than normal? Where would you grade the officials?
I think the officials are doing a good job. Anytime you get a series that is particularly physical, it's more difficult to officiate. I talked to Scott Foster years ago, and he said Shaquille O'Neal it was impossible to officiate because a normal defensive hit that would send somebody sprawling into the stanchion didn't bother Shaq. It was still the same illegal contact, but it just Shaq could play through contact more than ordinary mortals. The other thing too is that I think what we need to understand is you have a lot of officials, veteran officials, that have either regrettably passed away. We've had 2 top-level officials pass away from pancreatic cancer. We've had so many officials injured. So, for example, Bill Kennedy, normally a finals referee, is not in the playoffs this year, and it's not because he's a bad official, but I'm sure physically. David Guthrie, a finals official, was injured most of the season. He is not in the playoffs. So you do have a much younger group of officials, particularly the 36 that are working the playoffs, not as much experience as you wish you had. You think about guys like Steve Javie had to retire prematurely. Mark Wunderlich had to retire prematurely. Tony Brown was a finals-level official, died of pancreatic cancer a couple of years ago. So it is a younger group of officials, and they may be struggling a little bit with the physicality of it. But a physical game is very hard to officiate, and there are few teams that are as physical as Oklahoma City.
No, and for that matter, Phoenix tried to do the same thing with Dylan Brooks to match that, and that's just not going to work out. I would bet in the long run. Last thing, really quick, because we go long here. I saw this story, the cap going down possibly as much as not a major thing like $1 million a team because of the loss of local revenue from television because of the demise of FanDuel. Any updates that you might have on anything the Grizzlies are doing or other teams are doing to make up for the loss of those local regional networks?
The television plans, I think, for the 13 teams that were FanDuel teams, I think it's all very much up in the air right now, and I don't have an update. I know that the games will be on somewhere. Where that somewhere is, that is the to be determined for the 13 teams that were FanDuel teams last year.
Well, I know you're going to be doing them. It'll just be a question of where. That's going to be the big question in the end. Pete, as always, we appreciate it. We'll talk next week.
Thanks so much.
That is Pete Pranica on the NBA. We're going to talk baseball here in just a second, right here in the Family Leisure Studio. A reminder, the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Expo, that's the new sale. We're calling it the Battle of the Brands because 7 manufacturers are all fighting for your business. Hot tub starting at $34,499 at just under $3,500. The swim spas, the big ones, just under $17,000. You mention us and you'll get a free cover lift for your spa purchase. That's worth some money. It's worth talking us when you walk in to Family Leisure. We're walking down the road to talk to Tim Doolin about baseball. Did you see the Cubs have won 8 games in a row? I think
that's finally won one.
I know. The Phillies have lost 8 games in a row. I think the National League Central is the best division in all of baseball. What does Tim Doolin think? We find out in a minute.
Let Bryant Dacus and Brett Norsworthy take you home every afternoon. Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekdays from 3 to 6 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
The best I-dos start with Sissy's Blue. Discover bridal jewelry worthy of your big day at Sissy's Log Cabin, along with our spectacular experience that comes with our promise of exceptional quality, service, and brilliant natural diamonds. Experience our expansive selection when you stop by any of our 7 locations or shop online at sissyslogcabin.com. Find your perfect engagement ring only at Sissy's Log Cabin because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, Tito's is known for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Incorporated, Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
I got him on the line out there in Gossett Volkswagen Germantown. Hey, Marty McNate, what's going on?
I've got some big news. Volkswagen Driver Days is going on at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown.
And I hear you've got some incredible deals happening right now.
You heard right, Randy. I got 2026 Jetta S, $277 a month.
$277 a month for Jetta. Hey, what else you got?
How about 2026 Teos S, $327 a month.
$327 a month for Teos S, and I hear you got a Tiguan deal out of this world.
2026 Tiguan S, $355 a month.
Well, it sounds like you got something for everyone.
Come see me, Marty McNate, at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road, or shop online at GossettVWG.com. And remember, your future is what you make it.
36 month lease, Jetta SM 10428, MSRP 26426, Taos SM 06162, MSRP 27011, Jetta TM 05137, MSRP 25820, Taos STM 108 MSRP 29101, Tiguan TM 14510, MSRP 32585, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax on license with approved credit, see the complete details, offering score 3026, dealer stock only.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Welcome back in. Time to talk baseball with our baseball expert. That would be Tim Doolin, the czar of the Doolin Dodgers all over the country. Good morning. Did you see my Cubs have won 8 in a row? Did you see that every team in the National League Central is over 500?
I do my homework, and if you remember last week, I liked the Cubs, and you were like, well, I don't know, they're not playing that good. So they must have heard you.
They got it in gear. Maybe it's because they played the Mets and the Phillies, who have fallen apart. What the heck has happened? All right, let's start with the Mets. I mean, they've got the biggest payroll of anybody in baseball. What? Even bigger than your Dodgers. What the heck has happened here?
Well, I mean, I think so much of it is like trying to get some cohesiveness and some culture built in that clubhouse with some new additions. And I don't know. I was never a fan of the hiring. I think when you're managing a club in a market like New York, you got to have someone that's got some backbone and that has been there and done that, in my opinion. Problem is there's not many of the great baseball guys out there that are going to succumb to the front office telling them how to manage a club. So I think you got a couple of different issues there. But anyway, I don't think if they continue this slide, I think you're going to see them fire him. Now, who will they bring in? Who knows? But you got to have these guys are together 162 games. They got to figure it out, and they're too good not to be playing better than they are. That's for sure.
And then the Phillies have lost 8 in a row. This is a really good team. I don't know what's going on there.
Well, I think it started. If you remember, right as the off season was here, and Dombrowski made a comment, warranted or not, about Bryce Harper, and Bryce took it personally. And I think that, again, you've got some discontent in the clubhouse with the Phillies. I really think that, and they've got a veteran ball club in which oftentimes those veteran players it doesn't bode well. I mean, you got to have your guys have to be happy, employees have to be happy, and you got to put them in the right environment, and you got to know you got their back. So I don't know. It's early yet.
It's definitely early yet. I found this interesting with the Dodgers. Maybe it's because Shohei Ohtani is getting just slightly older, but their usage of him is changing to this slight new note. When he pitches, he will not bat. Do you see logic in that? What's the reasoning?
I think maybe for now, just because you can't, he's got to run. So let's say he gets 4 at bats, he gets on base twice, he's got to run around the bases. This guy's talking to Mookie, he's so organized and structured with his process and his routine. I don't know if it's coming from his camp saying I don't want to hit the days I pitch, or if it's just something the analytics department has looked at and said, for now, we're just gonna let him not hit when he pitches 1 day a week. So I don't know. I can assure you the guy probably wants to hit. He loves playing the game.
I know, and they continue to play well. They're got the second best record in the National League. They're tied with a bunch of teams. The Braves have the best record in baseball. They lead the East already by 5 games over Miami. They are getting pitching from Chris Sale and Bryce Elder. And who's this catcher? Drake Braun, 327, several home runs, 23 RBIs. What's going on in Atlanta?
Well, the good thing is for a team like the Braves who've had issues with guys on the DL, they lose Profar for a full year after his second violation of PEDs, which they were paying this guy a lot of money, and he's not even a DH or a left fielder. So obviously they've had guys like the catcher you just mentioned that has kind of come out of nowhere, which you got to have if you're going to be a contender in any of these divisions. You got to have some good surprises, and it looks like the Braves have got it. And look, Chris Sale is there's no question in my mind the guy's a Hall of Famer. I mean, if you ask hitters who are the top 3 or 4 guys you'd hate to face, he's one of those guys. He's 6'9". He's got funky arm action. It's coming from a different slot, and then the ball's moving all over the place. It seems like it's right on top of you. Much like Randy Johnson. Randy Johnson didn't have that 3-quarter delivery, but I faced him enough to know that it's very difficult to hit off guys like that.
I rue the day the White Sox could not keep him. So Atlanta, may be the best surprise, or is it the A's? Which are they still playing in the minor league ballpark, or have they moved to Vegas?
They are. I think this will be the last year, and then next year they move into their own.
So they're 13-12 in a bad division. Obviously, I don't know what's happened with Seattle. They're 11-15. That's shocking to me.
Right, but again, there's so much parity in that. I mean, you got 13-12, 12-12, 12-14. No one's stepping up in that division like you just mentioned. But I think the Athletics have figured out a way with Billy Beane and with a budget that's not near what any of the ones, even in the middle of the pack in the big leagues, is. He's done a really good job of putting together a solid club. Brent Rooker's, I don't know if he's on the DL or missed a few games, but that was the smartest thing they could have done, in my opinion, is lock up a guy like him who's a consummate teammate, a grinder, a proven all-star over the last couple of years. So they got to get him back healthy, but I don't know if you could say the A's are a surprise because of the fact that their division there's so much parity and mediocrity in that division.
But Billy Beane,
I am surprised the Braves. I really am.
Billy Beane's still there. That's surprising. How many years has he been the Oakland GM?
Long time.
Let's go back to Moneyball. How many years ago was that? I mean, he's got to be in his 20-something year as the GM of the Athletics. That is incredible. Moving to college baseball quickly. SEC, Georgia still the best team at 13-5. A&M is next at 12-5. Texas 11-6, and then the logjam. You got Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Auburn, Oklahoma, Florida, all at 10-8. Are all those teams, even the 10-8 teams, going to end up hosting regionals?
I don't know if the 10-8 teams will host regionals, but they'll all be in regionals. I can assure you that. Again, this league is just a gauntlet every weekend. I don't care who you're facing, other than maybe South Carolina and Missouri. They're all quality clubs, and they can all take 2 out of 3 from you. So I think their goal is all those teams that you just mentioned, even down to the 10-8, going into the back half of conference play and leading up to the postseason. They're just trying to make sure they're healthy, and hopefully they can be playing really solid baseball come regional time, because I have to believe that most of these SEC schools will have an advantage going into the postseason just because of what they do during the year and the competition that they play week in and week out.
Tennessee lost their skipper to the major leagues, and it's been a struggle for him in San Francisco, but they've struggled as well. They're under 500 in the league.
Tennessee?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. And they lost some games early, and I think he's going to be a good young coach. He had always coached third base while he was an assistant before, and I think 2 weeks ago he said, "You know what? I'm going to stay in the dugout and let somebody else coach third," which I think has been a good move. That way he can be closer to the players consistently. I thought he made some rookie moves early against like Vanderbilt. The wind's blowing dead out, and they're bunting in the 3rd and 4th inning instead of playing for big innings, and the score ends up 12-10 or 15-14. So sometimes you just got to learn, and I think he's going to be fine. Obviously, they need to get to a regional and possibly win a regional to keep the faithful UT fans at bay,
right?
So they don't try to fire a guy in his first year, which would be stupid. But I think he's going to be a really good coach.
Where is Dave Van Horn and your Arkansas team? They have not been the same ball club that we've come to know.
I saw them early in Dallas at Globe Life in a tournament. They looked really good. I talked to him probably 2 weeks later about a few of our players, and he's very, very articulate and very transparent when we've talked about what he thinks, and he liked them. He said we got some holes. We're not playing really as much sound defense as we need to, but this guy's the epitome of one of the best college coaches ever, and I think they'll get it figured out. I mean, everybody's bunched up, like you just mentioned when you were going through the standings.
Is Georgia clearly the best team?
Well, I think so. And I'm very close with that program, and Wes Johnson's done an unbelievable job of turning them around as fast as he did, and then to reload the last 2 years. They're very potent offensively. They play in a small park, and they hit lots of fly balls, and they pitch it really well, and they're playing solid defense. So my concern for them is when they get into a bigger environment, if they get to Omaha, which would be great. That's a big park, as you know. So I don't know that they're clearly the best. I mean, A&M's playing really, really good. Texas, Mississippi State was dominant early, and then they've lost some series as of late. But all these clubs are so good. Oklahoma pitches it really well. So I think who you're going to see really do well in the regionals are the ones that get the hottest over the next 3 weeks. I mean, it's kind of flying by.
Oh, yeah. UTSA, UAB, they're on top of the American. ECU, always good. Wichita State still in the hunt. The Tigers are now 7-8 in the league, which means if the season ended, they would at least make the conference tournament. Are they turning the corner?
Well, it's hard to say. I will tell you, this weekend series against UAB will tell you if they're turning the corner, because UAB has turned the corner and is really playing well. So it'll be interesting to see how they do this weekend in Birmingham against UAB. That'll be the telltale if the winning streak that they had, leading into the Mississippi State loss, is progress or not.
Yeah.
But
that game was somewhat competitive, and they did beat Ole Miss earlier. So I think they're definitely a better team than they were a year ago. Tim, thank you much. We'll talk next week.
All right, well, thank you.
We thank you. That is our man on baseball, Tim Doolin. He's brought to you by Shell Dunn. Okay, so tonight, we got finally this NFL draft. Every team needs a quarterback. When you're buying or selling a house, you need a quarterback. And my guy, Shell Dunn, is your quarterback. First of all, you got to have a game plan and a guy to execute it. This is the cool thing about Shell Dunn. He's got the game plan. He's been in the business over 40 years. He's got a strategic marketing plan that he has. So in life, you got to have a plan, but you got to be able to work the plan. And that's exactly what Shell Dunn does. He's got that strategy, and he works it. He works it 365, 24/7. I promise you, if you call 483-0546, he gets it at least by the second ring. You don't have to worry about him being on a golf course, maybe on a weekend, because he loves golf, but he can't play because he can never practice because he's always answering your call. See what he's all about at MemphisRelocate.com. He'll tell you, talk to 2 or 3 real estate brokers when you're ready to sell or buy. Just make sure he's one of them. Then you learn the strategy, and you'll want to definitely get a hold of him. MemphisRelocate.com or 483-0546. That's how you get a hold of Shell Dunn. We are heading downtown. The Hall of Famer Jarvis Greer is standing by. We'll chat with him about the commission's statements, spring football, and a whole lot more. Jarvis Greer is next.
Did you miss your favorite Sports 56 show? No! Check out the podcast, broken down hourly at sports56whbq.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to like and subscribe. Never miss any Sports 56 show again with our podcasts available daily from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
In case you haven't noticed, things are hopping in downtown Memphis. Spring is in the air and people are out on the streets, and one of the best places to be downtown right now is Bell Tavern, Memphis's perfect downtown neighborhood bar. And while Bell Tavern is renowned for its ice-cold beer, signature cocktails, and genuinely friendly staff, you can also get a tasty meal there. Nothing fancy, just the kind of pub grub you expect to find in a place like Bell Tavern. The thing about Bell Tavern is, it's an oasis that always delivers.
You know the rush when you reach that goal, when something you've worked for pays off. That's success. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we believe you should never stop chasing it. That's why we offer a skills-based education that helps move your career forward. Learn how to apply emerging technologies like AI and data science. Build your leadership and critical thinking skills. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 13th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Shell.
The NBA playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, boosts every game day the whole postseason. Playoff stars turn it up round by round, and DraftKings turns it up too, with a profit boost available every single game day, from the first round all the way to the finals. New Sportsbook customers, bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code HERD so you're ready for the moment. That's code HERD. Turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, called 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, called 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 and over in most states, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
Volkswagen Driver Days is going strong, and Gossett Volkswagen's got you covered on the pike. Get out here right now and get sporty 2026 Jetta S. We Gossett down just $249 a month. $249 a month for Jetta S. How about 2026 Tiguan S? We Gossett $269 a month. Yes, $269 a month for Tiguan S. And if you're looking for performance, style, and technology, look no further than 2026 Atlas SE. We Gossett at $319 a month. Or get 0% for 60 months available. You ready for a new ride? Well, we got you covered at Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike, 1875 Covington Pike, or online, GossettBWMemphis.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
36-month lease. Jetta TMW 5137, MSRP 25820. Tiguan TMO 14510, MSRP 32585. Atlas TC 515398, MSRP 41841. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must be financed through Volkswagen Credit PF 895. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
We head downtown, and the Hall of Famer Jarvis Greer joins us now. Jarvo, last time we spoke, we can hear you. You were scratching like that, young guy.
Yeah.
You're good, okay now, right? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good now. That was pretty bad. I was trying to, the only thing was coming out was air, and that was it. I couldn't get the old vocal cords to work. But I went to our doctor, Dr. Franklin, and gave me some good antibiotics, and it would have been rough if we had to do the spring game or the spring festivities for football Saturday. I would say I would have been questionable for that, and I would have been doubtful for that. If they'd have done it on Sunday, I would have been questionable. But my voice came back, so I'm ready to go.
Here's what I hate about that, and I mean it. Not only did we not get a chance to see one last practice and really get to see a lot of the practice and where they stand with personnel and how the big lines might look, both offense and defense, and how quick those DBs might be, and a look at the what I think is a pretty deep running back room. But I know for Ed Scott and for Dr. Bill Hargrave, the president of the university, this was going to be an opportunity to show off the remodeled stadium. I know it's not 100% done, but you would have gotten a better sense of it. You could have maybe gotten in and seen the suites, and that opportunity was lost, and that's too bad. I think they're going to do a fall kind of scrimmage that will kind of replace this, but it's not the same.
Yeah, I'll probably do a Tiger Fan Day kind of thing. That's what they do when I was out there right before the season, right when you break camp. We used to do 3 days, then 2 days under Rich Williamson. But, I would say that the stadium will be more ready. Well, it'll be pretty much done by then.
Oh, yeah.
So, there's that added benefit. I have not been inside of it since the end of the season, but, boy, passing along Southern Avenue, going by that bad boy, man, that thing looks good. I'm telling you, it's impressive. And anybody that's seen it, that's driven by it, and, if you go down Central and you go by
that's
the
where
Liberty
I've seen
Park
it.
area,
Yeah, I've seen it from there.
It looks really, really good. You should go around the back end, man. You can see what they envisioned when they had this remodel in mind. And so hopefully, everything will be pretty much ready to go by the time they do get around to it, having the fans in there and looking at the party deck and everything. And maybe we'll do a show from there. What do you think before the season?
Sounds like I think you're talking about the Tigers Radio Network. I think we are going to do. Yeah, I think we're going to do an event in the fall pre the season starting. So that will take the place of what we were not able to do last Saturday. I'm curious. You did go to several practices. Is there a takeaway that you might have gotten from watching the little that we got to see?
Like you said, the running backs with Dallin Hayden and Manny Covey, and there's another one that are basically in the top three. They're all different kind of backs. You got a hard runner and Dallin Hayden. You got a kind of an in-between guy, between the tackles guy, and then you got a Manny Covey, I think, is more of a scat back type, catch the ball out of the backfield, punt return kind of guy. Really, really quick. He's really good in open space. But, when most of the time we were able to go to practice, they were not hitting yet. Everybody looks good, when they're shoulder pads and shorts. It's when they put the pads on when you're in. But one thing I really did see that impressed me, all the quarterbacks, or the top two guys, they can sling that football. They can throw the football. They can throw it on the run. They can throw, stationary stand-up. They could throw like 20-yard outs on a dime, frozen ropes, 30-yard outs, frozen ropes. And it's like, that's ESPN, frozen ropes. And it's like, that's what you want to see. And then they had, on their long balls, they were able to loft them, right over the defensive backs, and they fall into the hands of the receivers just like, easily catchable balls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that that looks good. So that's something to, it's hard to tell much out of the defense right now because, you're not hitting. Or they weren't hitting when we were allowed to be out there.
And it's significant that he added a couple JC linebackers to add depth.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was to add depth yesterday.
I think so, and I think that tells you, if they're adding people at this point, that means that they're not that happy with what they have. I know they got the one kid from Montgomery from Southern that's a monster, pretty much. He had 105 tackles at the linebacker spot, and nobody else on the team combined had that many tackles in their career. I think they got, Jaden Flaker's still on the team from last year, but he was a backup. So, they brought in a couple of JUCOs from some reputable programs, so that's good. But, they're running a 4-2-5 this year. That's the stated goal on their defensive alignment. And hopefully they got the pieces to go. I know they got the one back who will wear number 0, who is like a defensive back, is going to play that nickel position.
Is that Ian Foster?
That is Ian Foster.
Yeah.
You are right.
Yeah.
He's a stud. He is a stud. He will take on anybody, and everybody can cover. He's also a really good punt returner. So look for him to be all over the field in the fall.
All right, let me turn to the commissioner yesterday, stating definitely Memphis isn't going anywhere. He mentioned Nashville. He didn't have to go there, but he did. What were your thoughts about what Commissioner Silver had to say yesterday?
Adam Silver. Silverfield football. Adam Silver. We were talking on our show, Grisby show, yesterday on every Wednesday, 2 to 3 p.m., Grind City Media. Get that plug in. He was saying that we played that quote, or we played him on the air, and it's like when it was over, we were all going, say less. That was one thing Lionel Hollins was big on, a former Grizzlies coach. When you said what you had to say, that's it. Don't say anymore. And when he started adding all this, Nashville's a booming area, and we like it, and, maybe, they could play, I would like to see them play a couple of games there and make it like Tennessee's team. It's like, screw that, man. We've been too much. We've been through much with that business. He did say, though, that the owner, Robert Pera, has no intention, and told him he has no intention of moving the team. And so that's good. And he does not, Adam Silver does not want to move the team.
Well, the other part of that is that, if you move the team to Nashville, you'd be third team in the league, in the city. Yeah. And then if they get baseball, you might be the fourth. You would be the secondary tenant of your own building unless they were to build you another one.
That's the biggest. That's the biggest thing. They don't have a building. They want baseball. Nashville wants Major League Baseball, and they can have it. They've been after it for a while. They've got a couple of groups up there, at least try to get either an expansion or a relocation. But that's what they want, and the Grizzlies already moved once because they were, second fiddle to the hockey team in Canada, in Vancouver, because Vancouver hockey in Canada is number one, and that's period, point blank period. And they did not want to be the second fiddle in that building up there, GM Place. So that's one reason they were looking to get out, and they moved to Memphis, where they are the number one tenant. Okay, so.
Well, plus which you got to pay a relocation fee. That could be $1 billion. You got to pay.
Well, here's the deal.
Wait, and you got to get 75% of the league to agree with you. You got to get those owners to agree with you.
Yeah, and here's the deal. As far as money is concerned, you say, okay, if I move, I got to pay some godly relocation fee. If I stay, I'm about to make a windfall of $750 million off of expense.
Right.
Las Vegas and Seattle.
Right.
Which are they're going to take the vote on later. I mean, that's a shoo-in. They've already mentioned them. They haven't mentioned anybody else. Everybody knows who it's going to be. They're going to do it. The NBA is the only league that has 30 teams. Only major league that has 32. Every other one, NFL, NBA, NFL, MLB, they have 30. So you had 2, and they're good. You're in good shape, and then that takes any other city off the docket, at least for now. So hopefully, and then with the state putting all this money, they put another $50 million, whatever it is, into the arena district, they're calling it now, around FedEx Forum. So that's $124 million that the state is putting in to fix up, enhance, and police the area around FedEx Forum. So, and then you add that with the $550 that they're getting for everything else that is supposed to be going on there. Now it's just signed the lease, and I think that's going to come. That announcement will come sometime soon here.
Okay.
And they're just trying to dot the I's and cross T's on exactly how they want things to look.
All right. I'm going to hold you to that. That's going to come quick. Last thing.
It's all good for downtown Memphis.
Yeah.
It's all good for
downtown.
Well,
I did notice there was a kickoff yesterday for the new Memphis football club. I think they're calling it Memphis FC. It's not 901 FC. Memphis FC. They're going to have tryouts. Yeah. This is the USL 2. I know you had a son that played in both USL 2 and USL Championship. That's JJ Greer. What do you think about this league? It's going to play at Mike Rose, right?
Right. It'll play at Mike Rose. And what it is they take – it's basically a league for, like, top college players and some pros, or either older pros, former pros, guys coming in from overseas that want to continue their careers. So it's kind of like the wooden bat league in college baseball. In the summer when they go play up in New England, I think that's where they play.
Yes.
And it's a way for the kids, the college kids, to keep their skills together over the summer when school's out, and for the pros come in and make a little money. And it's entertaining. It's like I said, it's not MLS, it's not USL Championship, but it will be entertaining. Right. And I think
when does that play out at when does it start? Do we know when it starts?
No.
That and the other thing, we're going to have a couple of other distractions. You got this thing, and you got the Arena Football League that's going to play at the Memphis Sports Event Center by Tiger Lane. I can't wait to see what that is all about. Anyway, should be plenty of things to do.
I think those are things that'll be fun for families to go do.
No
it's
doubt.
Just something to do.
Thank you, my friend. I'm glad your voice sounds better. We'll talk next week.
I am glad, too, man. I was like, I can't do it.
You're much better now. There's no doubt. Thank you. That is Jarvo, our Hall of Famer. He's brought to you by another Hall of Famer. I think he is when it comes to building a home or renovating a house. Renovation with innovation. You know by now that's Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. If you're looking for land, he's got it. If you've got land and you want to build that dream home, you're not sure how to utilize that land, he's now got 3 generations of experience. We're talking 80 years in the business. Ken Sr., Ken Jr. runs it. Williams in the business now. They see little details. They see the big picture. And the job is never done. I mean, if you do a project with them, they're with you all the way, life of the deal. Listen to what he says in his own commercials. There's plenty of times where folks have come back a year later and he goes, we can work through this. It's always a positive experience. Latest in renovation, you want the California closets, the island in the kitchen, the media room with the speaker in the walls. They know how to do that. They know how to do it all. When it comes to remodeling, when it comes to building your dream home, one place to go. Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. That'll do it for us. I'm out tomorrow. Landon Schmidt will take you. I'll see you Monday morning. Johnny Radio's next. Have a great day, everybody.